Welcome back to the Truth Be Told podcast. This is episode 11. Guys, we made it almost to 20 episodes. Wow. So today we are having a very special episode with a very special guest. So introduce yourself.
Hello, Truth Be Told. For those who don't know me, my name is Deshayla. I'm KK's little biggest sister. And yeah, it's
Okay.
fun. I'm excited.
Are you ready for the smoke?
I'm ready for the tea.
Oh, you're ready for the tea. Yeah, okay. So this is episode 11, Transcending Expectations, Embracing Your Now. So how you feeling today, girl?
You know, I woke up early and I was still late.
Ooh.
But I feel good. I had time to prepare my mind for this. I'm ready. Let's get into it.
Period. So, you guys, we are going to get into the episode. You know, we start each and every episode with the shot o'clock. And if you watched the last episode, you will know that I am fasting. So, I will not be actually taking a real shot. But we are still going to do the shot o'clock in the spirits of shot o'clock. So,
shout out to my sister for fasting. What you fasting from, girl? What's
I'm
the end goal here?
My end goal is to center myself. Like, I really want to center myself and really just come into terms with what I have going on and just get everything in order. I feel like the last 2 months I've been just ripping and running and ripping and running, and I haven't had any real time to like just check myself at the door. So yeah, I'm trying to center myself. I'm trying to get myself together. March was a lot. March was a lot.
Too much. Overwhelming. Yes. I'm tired.
Yes. Okay, so shot o'clock to episode 11. Cheers. Okay.
I can't shot. I just got off a 40-day fast, so I'm still not on that liquor.
Woo. Keep it away.
Keeping off that liquor.
So, you guys, we start off the episode with 2 truths and a lie. So, Sissy, you got some tea for us?
Let's see if y'all can find the tea. That's
okay. They gotta find.
Can you find the tea? Okay. So, I graduated with 2 degrees. Our dads have the last name. Our dads have the same last name. I'm sorry. And I rode a camel up a mountain in India.
Okay, you guys. So comment down below which one you all think is the lie. I think I know, but we're going to wait to the end of the episode to reveal which one is the lie.
You better know, or you're not my sister.
Yeah. I mean, it's supposed to be a test for me, too. But hey, it's okay.
Don't get it wrong.
Don't get it wrong. Okay, you guys, so we're going to get into transcending the expectations, embracing our now. My sister has been on her own personal journey. She is younger than me, but it's just grateful for me to see her in a different light, being on her own personal journey. So you want to tell us about your journey a little bit?
So I've been on a few journeys. I've been on the spiritual journey. I've been on the self-improvement journey. I've been on a who am I journey, healing journey. So, but most recently, I've been on my spiritual journey. I've always been like into religion, into God, but I really tapped in, I would say, last year to just be 100% committed. So I've been working on that, getting involved with the church, reading the word. God is just so good, y'all. I'm just gonna say that. That's it. When y'all hear my answers, if you feel like you in church just a little bit, I tried not to make it too churchy, but that's just the answer. He's just the answer. I don't know what to say.
Well, we love that for you, and we're wishing you peace and blessings on your journey with whatever you do in your next journey and the next one, because you're clearly embracing your now.
Yes, awesome.
So we're going to get into topic number 1. It's going to be understanding discontentment. So I'm going to let you start first.
Okay. Understanding discontentment. That's pretty complex but vague at the same time. But the first thing that comes to my mind is just being okay with being in certain circumstances that you weren't expecting. Okay. So when I think about discontentment, it's like it's nothing wrong, but it's nothing right either. So I'm still trying to figure out the in between. And I think being able to embrace that moment and just tuning in onto those times to actually look into yourself and say, okay, this is not 100% wrong, but I'm also missing something. What is the missing piece? And just like doing some self-evaluation to figure out, okay, to get me out of this rut, to get me out of this funk, what do I need to do going forward?
Right.
And I think understanding that is the baseline to be able to move forward and pursue your purpose or your dreams or whatever you have going on next.
Yes, so I'm going to go into briefly like some examples of me understanding my discontentment. So I would say one big thing is me being uncomfortable being on orders. So I went from working from home every single day for the last, I don't know, it's been years at this point, to me having to go into work and going to the office every single day. So it's understanding my discontentment, because it's like I used to wake up and I'm in pajamas and I'm sitting at my computer desk. To me, I have to put on my full entire uniform, get completely dressed for the day, and have a full working day, versus me, I may be able to, walk off and go make me a little lunch, or, take a little cat nap in between, or go maybe run an errand and come back. So that is, I can still kind of do that when I'm on orders as well, but it's a little bit different from you working at home in your own personal space versus you being in a military armory majority of the time. I'll say another big one for me was moving from an apartment to moving to a house to basically moving into storage, because pretty much that's all I did was, I went through a bunch of different movements, and every movement it was discomfort, or I wasn't content with it, or it was like, oh, I'm comfortable now, but how long will I be comfortable until I'm uncomfortable again, or until I have to get uncomfortable again?
So what have you learned from that?
Ooh, what have I learned from that? I've learned that you have to be uncomfortable to get back comfortable, but never get complex or never get too comfortable in any position. Yeah, complacent. Never get complacent in any position that you are in, because today you up a meal. Tomorrow, you may be door dashing. So you just never know. It just comes with a lot. So I feel like just never get too comfortable. Always have a backup plan as well. I'm real big on having a backup plan, like always having something else. So like just say for example, like my side hustles, like I was doing a couple of side hustles for a little minute when I was in the apartment. I went from the apartment to the house. I didn't really have to do a side hustle. But then towards the end of me being in the house, I had to do a couple side hustles just to kind of make things shake, because I think more so I do kind of live like a low-key expensive lifestyle. So it's like keeping up with that and keeping up with what I have going on. And I think another thing that I was going to say too, to add to what I was going to say, is actually depending on people. I'm not really big on depending on people. There's probably like less than a handful of people that I can say that I depend on, or I would depend on them. Like I probably would figure it out before I ask somebody else for help. And I think this season I've had to depend on people more. So it's definitely a form of discontentment and discomfort for me, because it's like, ooh, will it get done? Oh my gosh, it may not get done right. Oh, this not right. This is that and third, whatever. So I think that's big for me too, is to kind of depend on people. Also going from National Guard, going to a weekend out of the month to going every fucking day.
Yeah.
So I think that's big for me too, because I'm used to, ripping out the uniform once a month, or, when I'm gone for the summer for an entire month, to me having to be in the screens every single day.
My sister is the pickle.
Yes,
I am pickle.
The biggest. So, yeah. You have anything to add to that, or you want to move on?
I would say that I can agree with you, because over the last year for me, I've been in situations where it's kind of like you have a consistent rate in your life, and I think it's always good to have something consistent, but knowing how to embrace the unexpected. So, for example, I had a job. I'm used to having my own apartment. I'm used to doing what I want to do, going in and out the house, things like that. But then it's like, okay, boom, now it's time to transition. Come back home, go back home with your parents, and restart.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like, it's all about perspective in those type of situations, because it's all about how do you look at your uncomfortable situations. Is it like, oh my God, what is happening to me? Or it's like, okay, there must be something greater in it. And I think always finding the good in your uncomfortable situations is the power tool. And you always grow. Like, you don't grow if you're not uncomfortable. So anytime you keep facing adversity after adversity after adversity, just having that faith and understanding, like, I'm not going through this for no reason. I just gotta see it through, and kind of, even if I don't understand, just trust the process.
Ooh, that brings up a good example to leading into my birthday last year. It was like me embracing that God is telling me, like, I need to rest. This is your time to rest and relax. But me like, no, I need to do this, I need to do that, but I'm bouncing around and not realizing God got something for you, but He's telling you to rest. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the time that you have, because now it's all boots on the ground now. Like, it ain't really a lot of rest.
That's the part. That's the part. And I think for me, I'm the opposite. Like, I spent last year traveling here, going here, doing this, buying this, going this, da-da-da-da. Now it's like, it's time to relax.
Yeah.
Like, you need to sit down. You need to focus on what you got going on. Like, you can... What you're doing is okay, but if you want to elevate, you always have to be ready to make some type of change, and that always comes with something uncomfortable.
Yeah, and letting go of things too. Letting go of certain habits, spending habits, doing certain things. So yeah, so I think that's big. That's real big.
Just to cry 4 times a week. I'm sick.
Okay, so we're gonna get into setting unrealistic expectations. So, what are some unrealistic expectations that you had for yourself? That you still have?
I think at this season in my life, with my walk with Christ and things like that, I'm at the mindset of whatever you have for me, just allow me to steward my life appropriately. Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't say that, okay, in 20 years, of course I want to be wealthy, I want to be rich, but how I'm going to go about it is based on how He guides me to go about it. Mm-hmm. So with that being said, I would say, I don't think I have unrealistic expectations. Now, I may have goals that are like a stretch goal, but I don't think it's nothing that I can't achieve with the rate of my life. But I think the thing about setting unrealistic expectations is it leads to disappointment. Like, you don't know your future, and you can't base like what you expect in your future on your present either. Right. But also, it's kind of like, you have to be open-minded when you set expectations, because today I might think in 5 years that I could be starting up a business, but it might take me 7. But because I thought I had 5 in my head and I wasn't looking at the full picture, being open-minded to change and going through adversity and learning the lessons along the way, I'm disappointed at year 5 and I give up, and my year was year 7. So it's just about being okay with, like, taking a break and understanding within yourself, like, when God put me through things, when I go through things in general, it's a building block for my future. So I can't start no business if I haven't learned how to file my taxes, if I never employed nobody, if I never known what it was like to do something from the ground up, if I never known real estate. So you spend these years, you taking little milestones of your future and you like improving on it. Yeah. But if you take every downfall as a failure, you become like, that's where you lead disappointment. Yeah. So you can set unrealistic goals, but when you're doing that, you have to be open-minded and just be okay to change.
Yeah. I think more so too, as a kid, I set unrealistic expectations. Like, hey, I want to be married before this year. I want to have all these kids. I want to have a house. I want to do this. I want to do that. And it's like, God's like, I'm finna show you. So let me show you what you're going to do, and then I'm gonna show you. I see what you want to do, but I'm gonna show you what you're going to do. Exactly. So it's like it's kind of like a reality check. You like checking yourself and checking the temperature on certain things in your life, certain aspects. And I am real big on certain things happening in your life to build your character and to build you up, because I feel like you don't go through certain things in life, you don't know how to deal with things when they come your way. If you live your life all like super spoiled, you never had to do anything for yourself, you like things like that. When you do have a time where it's like you can't depend on certain people or certain things, or it's just you're not gonna know how to do it because you've never had to do it. I know a big thing with men, especially my brothers, are setting doctor's appointments. They will call Madre. And I think it's good to call your mom to help you out, whatever, blah, blah. But I feel like at some point you got to take off the trainer was like, I'm a big boy, I can do this, or I'm a big girl, I can do this, X, Y, and Z. So I think it's real big about learning things and also setting yourself up to be better for your future.
Exactly. So, and then I also feel like, to add to that, sometimes you don't have to go through things.
You think so? You don't think so?
And listen to why I say this. I was watching my sermon yesterday, and it was kind of like sometimes you go through stuff that you put on yourself. And for me, I grew up spoiled. I'm still spoiled. I didn't grow up needing anything. I didn't grow up having to get out the mud. That wasn't my lifestyle. But I was able to look at the people and the situation around me and learn what not to do. Yeah. So even if it's like not you going through stuff, just being able to be like, being able to like interpret the things around you,
Mm-hmm.
and you can use other people's experiences to form your life.
Yeah, I don't think like, I'm not saying like going through things like in a spoiled aspect, but like for me, I'm saying more so like, I would say, for example, you living in Columbia by yourself. If you've never, but before you moved to Columbia, you was in by your school by yourself. If you never lived by yourself and you got an opportunity to move to South Carolina, you would have probably been like, what the hell is going on? But you learned
I can understand
from you going through, oh, boom, I'm moving out straight from high school, straight to college. I'm moving into my own place, X, Y, and Z.
Now that's what I'm saying. Out of state.
Yeah, out of state. I feel like you've never went through anything. Like, you've never lived by yourself. Now you're scrambling. And not only are you scrambling, you're scrambling in a state that's 4 hours away from all of your friends and family. So it's a little hard. It's a little tight for you to be like, okay, what I'm going to do? And then it's like, now I got to call everybody. Oh, how I set up my power bill? How I do this? How I do that? But you learned that from experience. Yeah,
exactly.
From experience.
Exactly. And that's what I mean when I say, like, throughout your journey in life, you are exposed to different things that you need for your future, even though you don't know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, I was doing fine in a student apartment, and I'm like, no, like, this is not for me. I need to be by myself. I can't take it. But, you know, if I would have never gotten that in me, or if I would have been comfortable where I was at, like you say, I would have never experienced it. And then somebody called and say, hey, move to South Carolina. It's like, heck no.
I'm staying
I don't have no mama, sister, brother, no.
Yeah, and you miss out on opportunities too from that without you never being through certain things. So I think it's good for you to experience certain things at a younger age. Not saying you got to go through the mud and get it out of the mud and you got to go work 10 jobs, but I'm also saying to you, you know how to get up and go to work. It's not like you like, oh, okay, my mama got me. I don't
right. That is true. I can see that. I can see that definitely.
Okay, so we're going to get into the comparison trap. So I think a big comparison trap is that social media. Social media.
Them BBLs and that clear filter.
Woo!
Make you sick.
Oh my gosh.
Make you sick.
I think more so for me, I don't know. I think you're really confident as well in your body and what you have going on.
Yeah, but I feel like I still be wanting to see improvement in myself. Like, I don't want to be a social media girl. Yeah. But it's like certain things on me, I still be like, okay, these love handles, hate them. Gotta go. I'm in the gym 5 days a week. I'm doing abs every day. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I would say I'm comfortable in myself, but there's still like physical insecurities that I'm like learning to
But I think everybody has those too, which is why people go into the filters and the BBLs.
Right.
But I think it's a good thing about not falling to the comparison trap, because you know that you have a natural body that you can get into shape if you want it. Like, you know,
exactly. Like, you put in the work in, then it's kind of like, I go back and think, like, I could get a BBL. I could. I tell my boyfriend all the time, like, I'm going to get lipo. He's like, no, I hate it. I hate it here. I'm going to hate it there. And I'm
Baby,
like,
please
but then I really think about it, and it's like, I'll be even more insecure if I know I'm walking around and I just literally had to go pay $10,000 to look like that would make it worse. So it kind of make like the journey more exciting, and it makes you more driven to like do what you want.
Because I feel like over time, you're still young, I'm still young. Your body is going to change. You're going to have kids.
I was looking at a picture yesterday. I said, oh my God, my titties used to sit up.
I think that's a big thing too. It's just embracing your now. This is what your body looks like now. But I feel like in the future it won't. I feel like it's gonna expand. It's gonna change. And then as you have kids and you you can get back in the gym and you can get your body together, baby. You don't gotta.
Yeah. And another thing about comparing is comparing your success to other people's success. Like, you see people on Instagram, they can have money, they can be doing this, but you don't know what they did to that, and you don't know what they did to get to that point.
Yeah.
And sometimes, like, other people's battles be worse than our battles, but we just don't know it because it's us. So it's like, I had to go live by myself, but they probably had to go sleep on somebody's floor for 10 months and stay in and out of shelters. But it's like, if that's what you fantasizing about, is that what you really want? Like, you gotta think, like, if you want success, you gotta come with everything. Yeah. And that's not your purpose, so you're not built for that. So being okay with just walking in what's for you. Like, understanding, like, even if you don't understand, just know, like, whatever I'm doing because I feel like it's for me. And being okay with that. And, like, people can have their own opinions. They're going to do what they want to do. But you can only do what's best for you.
Yeah. You can
love me. What you say, sister?
Love me.
No.
Don't love y'all. Love me more. Okay, so self-doubt. So, Sissy, go ahead and give us some tea on how do you overcome your self-doubt. Or do you want me to start?
Let me see. Let me check my Palm Pilot.
Okay, while she's checking her Palm Pilot, I'm going to get into it.
Wait.
Oh, okay, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Which one? Which number are we on?
4.
Oh, okay. Overcoming self-doubt, I would say for me, a big thing is affirming positivity to myself.
Mm-hmm.
Like, talking myself up even when I feel down.
Ooh.
So, like, knowing that, you know, you may feel like this, but you really this. Like, you really... One thing I had to notice and one thing that helped me with my self-doubt was people around me, like, pouring into me. Mm. So, for a long time, like, I've always been a person pouring into people. But once I finally experienced, like, being poured into, it kind of gives you a different perspective on yourself because you see how people look at you positively. So, just being able to say, like, you know... Yes, you might be sad, but you can do this. You can do that. Just try it. Just see what's going to happen. Just having that confidence to be like, okay, let go and let God. Even if it's like something I'm not sure about. Just try it.
Yeah.
And just being okay that understanding like whatever happens is supposed to happen. Mm-hmm. So I really live by that. Like anything I do in my life, if it goes wrong, if it goes good, whatever happens is supposed to happen. So just understanding like you can't fail if you think like that. Because if something bad does happen, maybe this was my sign that's not for me, and I'm okay with that. Or maybe I needed to build, or maybe I need to try a different way. So just being open to understand, like, have the confidence in yourself because there's nothing that you can do that's wrong for you.
Okay, got it. So I think a big part to piggyback off of what you were saying is I can just say, for example, me going to AOC and also me going to BOC in the military. If you're familiar with the terms, it's basic leader course and then it's advanced leadership course. And I doubted myself. Excuse me. I doubted myself because I didn't think that I was going to pass my PT test. I didn't think I had it in me. I was like, I hadn't been working out as much as I needed to, or I was working out as much as I needed to, but I didn't think that I was going to meet the standards to make at least 70% or above to go to school. But instead of me saying, I don't want to go, I really dug into, I need to go, this is my time to go, because who knows that when this opportunity will come up again for me to go. So I was really big on going, and I actually made honor grad at BOC because I guess I was just good like that. But I did doubt myself a lot about it. I think about a lot of overcoming your self-doubt is not overstimulating yourself, not overwhelming yourself. I think oftentimes we overwhelm ourselves with our standards and what we need to do and our goals and this, that, and the third, but I don't think you have to overstimulate yourself, and I think a lot of overstimulating comes with having bad anxiety as well, because you're overstimulating yourself to a point where A, no return, or B, you're spiraling out of control for no real reason.
Yeah. And that goes back to, like, just being able to have faith and, like, move gracefully. Mm-hmm. And just understanding, like, no matter what happens, it's supposed to happen. Because whether it's good or bad, it's supposed to be good or bad. Like, it's not going to be both.
Yes.
So just being okay and having an open mind about that kind of helps calm, like, my anxiety moments. Or, like, when I feel like I got a lot of things going on, it's like, we don't know when to start. You have to reprioritize. It's kind of just, like, just take a step back.
Yeah. I think, and also it goes back to pretty much the title is living in our now. So this is what's going on right now. We can't worry about if in the future we're going to have this opportunity again, or we had this opportunity in the past and it didn't work out. You know, this is what's happening now. So we have to embrace what's going on now, because you don't know when this opportunity could come back up again. I know as far as AOC and BOC, those are hard schools to get into, especially with certain MOSs. So you pass it up this time, who knows when you'll go again. Now you're passing up promotions for years and years and years because you didn't want to step out on faith and actually just go and just to see how you're going to do or what all is going to take place. And a lot of those schools are very helpful, and they give you a lot of knowledge to take back to your unit to update your unit on certain standards as well. So we're going to get into embracing the journey.
I've been waiting for this question.
Ooh, that's your one.
I got a mouthful about this.
Okay, go ahead. Let's get into it.
All I'm going to say is you have to be okay with unexpected transitions. So when I look back on my life, like this question particularly made me look back on my life. Like over the past 3, maybe even 2 years, I have done so much that 3 years ago, I would have never thought. 3 years ago, all I was thinking about was, okay, I'm about to work this job. I'm good out here in Carrollton. I need to find me a house. You know what I'm saying? It was just like my now circumstances. Mm-hmm. But when things start transitioning in your life and you're not as afraid to like take that leap and take that step, that's when you actually see elevation. So I think for me, I was in a mindset of corporate life. I need to work. I don't graduate from school. I need to work. I'm about to be a manager. I'm about to, just run a business and run somebody else's business. I always said that as a kid. I want to run somebody else's business. I don't want to do all that work. Yeah. Right? But then God put me in a predicament where it's like, okay, yeah, now I'm finna come take you all the way across the states in South Carolina, and I'm finna show you what it's really like in the corporate world. Like, is this what you want to deal with? And so it's kind of like the moment that was so uncomfortable with me, like last year was so uncomfortable with me, especially for work. I learned so much about corporate people. This deciphering they are just, whew. Anyways, but just being able to embrace those moments and kind of just understand, like, sometimes you go through things to learn more about yourself. So that's kind of like where I'm at right now, embracing it now. Like, even though I thought I would be doing something in the management, something in the corporate, something and not, I'm doing something totally different. I'm in the same field, but like the lower type of position. But right now, I'm focusing on building me. Mm-hmm. I could easily been like, okay, no, I need to get back to man. I need to get back to certificate. I want to do this, that, and the third. But it's kind of like, that's not what I'm supposed to be doing at this time. So just taking the times like this that feels like not what you expected and finding the best in it, like finding the positive in it.
I think my embracing the journey, I think same over the last couple of years, I have had a different type of journey than my sister. I think we both had very transitional journeys. A lot of those journeys, I was beyond scared straight for almost all of those journeys that I went on. From me moving from my apartment into a house, that was kind of like a necessary thing. So it was like, even if I'm scared, it doesn't matter. I have to do it. Me moving from out of the house into storage, I got to do it because now I'm being ordered to be at a certain place at a certain time, Monday through Friday, and sometimes Monday through Sunday. So I think a part of me is just being grateful that I have been in positions to where I can elevate myself. I can help out my family. I can help out friends if need be. So I think that was a big part of the journey, the last few journeys I've been on. When I was at my apartment, I wasn't able to help as much as I could. I could help, pick up the phone and talk to my friends and, kind of guide them through certain things. If, my friends needed me to watch their children, I was able to do that. If I had to show up somewhere at a certain time, I was able to do that. But I wasn't able to do it as freely as I have been the last, I would say, 2 years? Just seeing as I've just been elevating myself into better positions. And I have embraced the journey. Right now, the journey is a little uncomfortable for me, even going from living with someone to living with no one to living with
everyone.
The entire unit.
Going back home from, like, one thing I had to learn, like, when you are in a place of solitude and you're by yourself, you think that you have it all together because you don't have any adversity. You don't have anything to shake you up. You can create your own peace. You can create your own environment. But once God said, okay, you heal, because healing is a journey. You know what I'm saying? You understand this, you understand that, but now let me take you back to your roots. Mm-hmm. And, like, just that transition alone has taught me a lot within the last 5 or 6 months I've been here. Like, you have to learn how to, you cannot navigate in life alone. And living by yourself, being an independent woman, doing this, that, and the third, like, it really blinds you to that fact. You feel like, I'm doing it now, then I'm good. I can get this done because I've always been doing it. But it's like, no, you need community. Yeah. You need people. Like, so just having to understand that and it feels like a step backwards in our mind because it's kind of like independence is the goal. But in all actuality, you have to have people around you that's going to, like, be there for you, comfort you, and being able to depend on those people and, communicate. And it's a lot.
I think that, I have been big on solitude. So I moved originally from Atlanta to Warner Robins, from Warner Robins to Augusta, or to Grovetown, from Grovetown to Augusta, and Augusta to Savannah. And now it's between Savannah and Atlanta. And I think a big part of me is I don't want to live with nobody.
Mm-hmm.
I did that in college. I don't want to live with nobody. People get on my nerves. They hurt me. I'm a very irritable person. And I think me embracing my journey is me learning that I am a very irritable person, and that in order for me to keep the people that I love around, I have to check myself at the front door. So I know I talked to you about it, and I guess I'll inform them that I did decide that I was going to take another form of counseling, another class that I was going to take, just to kind of help me kind of control a little bit of my irritability and me being agitated. Patience is like, I'm at like 40%. 40% patience. I'm patient sometimes, not all the time. I'm patient sometimes, but I think that sometimes people don't understand that I do too also have a lot going on in my life. So I don't want to overwhelm myself with other people's problems. And I think that was a big thing about you when you said you were always pouring into other people and never no one pouring into you. So I think a big thing about that too is I can't pour from an empty cup. I can't keep pouring into you all, and I need to pour into myself. So now I'm taking this time to really check myself and to really understand myself, and that's a big part of my fast too, is centering myself, because I've done some things in the last couple months that I'm not too proud of. It ain't been nothing too crazy, but it's been things that's like I need to check myself at the front door, because I too could be the problem. Yeah. So
that's an important statement. Like, yes. I too could be the problem. Like, once you are able to be self-aware, you pay attention to like how you make other people feel, and that's very important. And a lot of people who lack self-awareness, they're always hurting other people.
Yes, and they lack boundaries.
Exactly. But you have to know how, like, even when it's a tough time or like you feel overwhelmed, how to set your boundaries like healthy. Yeah. So just because I'm mad, I can't just be like, I'm gonna cut everybody off because there's just too much going on. Yeah. It's kind of like, hey, look, I can't do this right now. Yeah. I'm just telling you, this is, you know what I'm saying? So just understanding that even though you have a lot of pressure on you, if you want to be healthy and have healthy relationships, you have to know how to communicate that to people. And that's something that I'm still learning. That's something that I'm working on now, like within myself. Yeah, I think a big part of me this last year has been really heavy. I wouldn't even say the last year, I would say probably a year and a half. It's big on communication. I'm so big on communication. If you can't be somewhere, if you're not gonna be on time, communicate. Just let me know you're not gonna be on. You're not gonna be on time. Y'all, my sister was late to her whole birthday dinner, but we're not gonna talk about that right now. Anywho, yeah. I wasn't driving.
He was waiting for you.
Was? You don't drink. He wasn't there.
He was waiting for you.
Sister. You on my side.
Nah, it's on Jay's side. Anywho, y'all, we gon' but yeah, I think a big part is just communicating with any and everything that you do. In your job, you know, I know some people feel like, why do I have to tell a job why I'm sick and what's going on, and this is that and third, but this is a business at the end of the day, so I feel like it's big on freaking communication with your family and friends. Hey, y'all, today is not a good day for me, you know, tomorrow I ain't looking too better. I'm just letting y'all know that I'm overwhelmed right now. And sometimes people can take a boatload off of your plate. I would say, for example, when I was moving, and y'all call my sister for everything, so let's get understood. If I have to call my sister, it's either gonna go one or two ways, and if it go to one way, I'm gonna pray for y'all. But when I was overwhelmed with moving, I called my sister, and like we kind of brainstormed suggestions, and she kind of took the weight off my shoulder, because when I get stressed out, I kind of like shut down. I don't really have nothing to say. I'm real to myself. I will talk to my sister, but that's probably about the only person I'm gonna talk to. Everybody else, y'all irritating me. What do y'all want? So I think that I'm classes. Tuesday. But I'm big on, I just want to be bigger on communicating and just communicating my point across, and also not communicating in a way that I'm angry or I'm mad or I'm going off on you. I want to be like, sissy, why are you late? Piss me off. But, you know, yeah.
And I think a big thing about communicating, and like what I had to learn, is a hurdle for me, because for a long time when I tried to communicate with people, it's hard to communicate when you don't feel heard. So learning how to navigate in those type of situations and understanding, like, even though you're not understanding what I'm saying, I have to like forgive you for your ignorance and be okay with still like communicating my point, or even not saying it because it might not be the right time. Because at the end of the day, when you're talking to people, they only receive things when they're ready to. Yeah. So just because I feel like you need to understand this, that, and the third, if right now your mental is not ready to understand that, I can't fault you for that.
Yeah.
I have to just chuck it up to like, you'll get it when you get it.
Yeah.
And I've seen that happen around me in plenty of cases, so I really believe that's the truth. Like, you have to know when to say something. Sometimes you have to listen. Sometimes it's okay to give advice. So just having that understanding and that balance with understanding, like, people, everybody is not self-aware as me.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm talking to somebody and I know that's not their mental state, certain things, if I was to get offended by it, I'll be the bad person because, like, you know that's not them at this point in life.
Yeah. And
being understanding, like, it's the difference between helping somebody and, like, forcing somebody to do something. Nobody changes off of what you tell them to do.
Yeah.
They have to want it for themselves.
Yeah, and when
that's saying with communication. Like, if I'm talking to you, you're not going to receive what I want you to receive if that's not your headspace.
Yeah. So I think that's a big thing too, Sissy, with, you know, you can lead the horse to the water, but you can't make them drink.
And you have to be okay with it, because for a long time, it becomes a burden on, like, for me, I think one of my God-given graces is to, like, help people in, like, mentorship and just store people to, like, knowledge and getting better and things like that. But I had to learn within myself, you can't force it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I had talked to my pastor one day, and he told me, like, the only thing you can do for people is steward your life the way you want them to live. Mm-hmm. And it just be contagious. But you cannot say, you need to be going to church, you need to be doing this, you need to be doing that, and get mad when they don't do it, because that's not their reality. Yeah. So being able to accept people for who they are is like, it takes a lot for a person who feel like, dang, I'm getting myself together, why you not getting it? But it's not, that's not their season. Yeah.
Or I think that it's not their season, everybody's journey looks different. Even with your spiritual journey, I personally don't believe in going to church, mm-hmm. and that's just not something but I believe in praying, talking to God, this is and the third. My sister has invited me to church. I don't think that church is for me. I think that church is just extremely long, and after a while, I'm just not focused on it. And my sister doesn't fault me for not going to church with her. If she sends me a sermon or she sends me, the live things, I will watch those all day long, because I'm big on YouTube, especially YouTube Premium, because I can listen to it while I'm doing everything else, especially when I'm on my long car drive. Hate an ad, baby. YouTube Premium, make sure y'all watch it. Sponsor this episode. But I think that it's big. I'm big on, I'll watch the sermons and this and that and third, but I don't believe in sitting in the church, because I've done that in my life. Our family grew up with going to church every Sunday, but then I also watch people grow up and go to church every Sunday and then live their life in a way that is not written in the Bible. Mm-hmm. So I'm big on, obviously, writing my own life, but also listening to what God has to tell me. And also, another big thing I'm going to say, not to get too deep into this, is I don't pray to God for what I want. I thank God for what I have. And then I may pray about things that, like, God, maybe a sign. But I'm not big about saying, God, can you please send me $1 million? Like, let's be FFR for real. But I'm big about praying to God about things that I thank you for what I have. Because without me having this, I may have not been able to do X, Y, and Z for my friends or my family. So,
and that's just like embracing your now.
Yeah.
Same thing. And it's the same thing where it's kind of like, if you have faith, you can't have faith and worry. So I'm the same way as you. When I pray to God, it's more, thank you for this, thank you for this. Most of the time, I'm asking God to just work on me. Because if you work on me and you teach me the things that you want me to know about myself, everything else is going to fall in line. But when you ask, can I have this? I need this. I need this. When you do get your real signs, it shows disappointment. Yeah. Because you already have a set expectation. Where at the end of the day, our life is already written for us.
Right.
So because I want this, that don't mean that's what he has for me. And when I don't get what I want, I have to understand that doesn't mean that God's not answering my prayers. Ooh, but a lot of times we miss that step, and then we come in a continuous cycle of, oh my God, I need God. Why do I need this? I need to do this. I need to do this. And it's like reset after reset after reset after reset, when it's kind of like, be open to wherever he leads you, so that you don't feel that pressure of like, it should happen this way. Because, things happen. So.
Okay, you guys. So we are almost more than halfway through the episode. So you already know we're going to do our second to last shot of clock. So you ready?
Yes.
All right. Cheers. Halfway through.
Do the guests get like juicy crab or something? Like, what we get?
No. I guess. Goodbye. Come on. Okay, so
no bars, no sister.
Do the guests like treat the host to like juicy crab or something? Because I passed my PT test.
That's good. I'm
so
proud of you. Shout out to my sister, passed her PT test. Woo! Yeah, Great.
Jessica.
Next question. I'm on a budget.
Oh, can I get it?
My now is like naive now.
I got a question. So you know you had a sister credit card. Yeah. Can I swipe it today?
No. You over capacity.
Okay, you guys. So let's get into resilience and adaptability. So adapting. This is good for both of us because we're both adapting.
Yeah, I think we tapped into that earlier, like living alone, away from everybody. Like we were both isolated in our own world, our own spot, our own rules, our own everything. Like I didn't have to see nobody, I have to talk to you if I didn't want to, but having to take that time to yourself and learn yourself, I think it prepares you for like what you're supposed to be doing. Mm-hmm. So like coming back and like going to your roots, you really think like, wait a minute. Cause they say you ain't healed from stuff if you still get offended. Like if stuff still aggravates you, you really not healed from it.
Really?
So it's kind of like understanding that healing is a process. And it's okay to like be faced with the things you think you healed from, and approaching it differently is a sign of healing. Like I might still be like, ugh, but it's like, I'm gonna do it this way this time. So just being able to like adjust and not lose sight of what you're supposed to be doing. Right. That's very like resilient, cause things can take you.
I would say about resilience, and adaptability. Adapting is hard, especially when you are like, I would say I'm almost 10 years from that adapting to being with all of my siblings and mom and being around people all the time. I'm 29. So I left the house when I left to college, and I came back for a short spell before deployment, but it wasn't like anything that was more so as, I wouldn't really say this is permanent, but it wasn't how it is now for me, living completely by myself for all this time to coming back. So I think it's hard to come back, and then also to see the new rules
and to see how kind of like the structure of the house. And like when you heal from things that you didn't feel was healthy in your childhood, and then you go back and it's still the same way, and you think like, how do people think this is normal? Like, and it makes you feel like I have to change this. Like this is not right. I want to teach you more. I want to expose you to different things. Like this is not the norm. Yeah. So, and I think like that's the benefit of us going back because it's kind of like we have younger siblings that still needs that guidance, still needs that support. Our parents
we are raising our parents.
We babysit the moms this generation. I love
we
my
are
moms,
raising them,
but
it's a lot. I think it is a lot, especially going back to younger siblings, because you want to give them the same, I guess, sternness that you may have gotten, but I feel like the parents aren't as strict on the children in this generation. So it's harder because it's like, if I would have slammed that door, I would have been walked like a dog. But now they slam the door and it's like, whatever, let them do whatever they're going to do. It's like, wait a minute, where was this energy? I don't know, 15 plus years ago when I was, this age and I was slamming doors and doing X, Y, and Z. So I think that is a big thing too, is just adapting to their rules and their normal and what they have going on, and us, we're trying to set the standard of what we had and like let them know, hey, you're getting X, Y, and Z, but mama only used to give us A and B. So you need to be grateful for what you do have, because years ago you probably would never had this. I would say for my example, I'm not sure of my sister's example, but I'm big on let's keep the generations going, but also let's be stern with generations, especially with the boys. I think my mom has 2 boys.
Baby boys.
Yeah, I think that you have to be really stern with them, because the girls, I feel like the girls get it the worst, because it's like, don't have no kids, don't do this, don't do that, blah 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 blah. But then it's the boys that's running around like wild kids. And I'm not saying they having kids, but it's still like the simple fact of
they're not held to the same standards as a girl. Like growing up as a girl and growing up as a boy is 2 totally different things. Yeah. Like
especially being raised by a single mom.
That is very factual. Like the single mom life, you have to know how to do everything. You dependent on for everything. And my thing is, it's not bad. It's not a bad thing because it prepares you for life, this, that, and the third. Yeah. But sometimes you have to think like, as a single parent, like I said earlier, you need people, you need community. Yeah. So doing stuff together, you automatically down one, so you're not as effective as you thought. So just because I'm teaching you lessons, I'm still having to heal from trauma at 25, 24. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like just understanding that the parenting can be different. The biggest part is learning the same life lessons. Mm-hmm. Like, okay, yeah, we might be too old to beat kids. We got deep. You know what I'm saying? It might not be take all that energy, but you still need to understand time management. You still need to understand how to keep your personal space clean. You still, like, as long as you get the principles of life and you know how to, like, you know, just, I don't know. Because either way I go, I've accepted the fact. This generation is just different.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I'm too far from it, but it's a lot of things, the way they think, carry themselves, act. It's just like,
I think the attitudes too, like the attitude and mannerism is way different. Because it was a time you walk in my great grandparents' house and you're not saying yes ma'am, no ma'am. Go ahead and check yourself at the front door, because it's gonna come with a little pop to the lip or a check like, who are you talking to? Because you can't be talking to granddaddy like that, or you can't be talking to grandmama like that. So I think that's like a big thing too. I feel like they're not so disrespectful, but I also feel like the mannerisms is way different. It's like the expectation, the bar is not as high as it was for us.
Like, if you say something, they're like, I'm for the fly the house. Baby, I just know I'm on the across the counter.
Oh my gosh, I'm on the next flight out of there, baby. I gotta go, y'all. This is how y'all operate your house. Let it for y'all. I gotta go. I got things to do, and I don't have time for that. But yeah, I think that is a big part of the journey too. It's just kind of, like we said, embracing the now, and this is what they're doing now, and we can only do so much as to raise our own children. We can't raise our moms and our moms' kids. It's about time for us to start raising our own kids. So, you too, by your side eye.
Side eye. But that's true. That's true.
Okay, so seeking support. So, what are ways that you seek support, or what things have you done to seek support? What does your support system look like as well?
I think this season of my life, I'm finally getting comfortable with seeking support, because I feel like I've always been a supporter. So having to transition my mind to understand you don't have to figure everything out by yourself. Sometimes you need to talk. Sometimes your reasoning and logic is not okay. Like, that has been a whole transition for me. So I would say now, like, of course I got my mom, my family, but like, one of my biggest supporters right now is probably my boyfriend. Like, being somebody that's like open-minded, can talk to you about everything, can coach you through things. Like, see what you don't see in yourself, and just be able to like pour back into you, and kind of just like, you know, show you like you don't have to do things alone.
Right.
So, and that's the reason for me why I joined church, because I felt like in the season of my life, I've always been the giver. All my friends are used to me being that one call, logical call, sad call, happy call. What do I do? What do I need? But I never had nobody to like do that for me.
Right.
In the capacity that I needed it. Yeah. Right. So in my head, going to church with like-minded people who trying to follow God, do better, things like that, it builds community. And it kind of helps you be exposed to the people who do different things, and people who do podcasting. Now you got people who do podcasting with you. But if you have your same circle, it's kind of just like, sometimes you outgrow people. And that don't make you not love them, but you have to understand that in your next season, you can have your friends, but you need a new set.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I am now, like trying to kind of like rebuild and restructure what my support system really looks like outside of my boyfriend, because I don't know, it's different. But I think community is very important. Yeah,
I think ways that I seek support is, I don't know, I don't call a lot of people, because I don't like a lot of people in my business. And I just have past trauma with people just being in my business, and then like my business is running around the streets to people that I didn't know.
Yeah.
So my way of seeking support is, I would say mainly my family, but also majority of the time my seeking support is me seeking help outwards, which is like counseling. I don't more so like to pour too deep into people, especially I'm really close to my sister, so I do kind of talk to her more. But she's younger than me. She hasn't been through the same things that I've been through. She don't know what I'm truly going through. She can only know from, you know, my how I'm expressing certain things, how I'm feeling, you know, this day, or if my attitude is not right, she knows that, okay, she got an attitude today, I'm gonna let her be. But I try not to pour too deep into people, because I feel like everybody is going through their own thing. Even if it's not a bad day today, tomorrow it may be a bad day. Or tomorrow you may be thinking about something that traumatic happened to you years ago, or something that may not be right. Or let's just say you forgot to pay a bill, and now you're getting an extra fee on this bill. Like, oh, now I got to pay extra $50 or something like that. So my seeking support is me seeking outward, which is counseling. So I'm big on counseling, and talking to that lady, because I'm gonna go talk to that lady. I feel like my friends, they have good advice at certain times, but none of my friends, none of them has been through anything that I have been through. Nobody. So even if you have been through things I've been through, you haven't been through it in the capacity or the same feelings I've had or with the same person or anything like that. So I think that it's different. Nobody's going through the same journey at the same time together. I think everybody's journey and path look different, and I think that's the best part about having friends and support with you. So I don't really too heavily seek on people. I may vent here and there, but sometimes I vent to the point of what I'm comfortable with sharing and not what I need to share completely. So I could be one-sided, and I'm big with being one-sided sometimes with certain things, just because I may not want to hear all that right then and there, or I may not feel comfortable talking about it right then and there, or it may just not be the right time to talk about it, or I'm still emotionally healing and dealing with certain things. So I'm big on just seeking counseling. I have started journaling. I'm back into reading books and stuff. So I've been doing audiobooks, and I've been actually reading books. So I'm getting good at that. I haven't journaled as much as I wanted to. I did start like a audio journal journey a little bit prior to me moving out of my house. And when I just went back and like heard certain things that I was saying to myself, or certain ways that I was feeling, or days where I wouldn't really say binge eating. It's 100% overeating. I'm depressive eating. And I'm just talking to myself like, hey, I just ate this, I just ate that, and I'm looking at the timestamps, and it's like hours apart, not like hours like 3 or 4 hours. It's like 2 hours apart, and I'm just eating. It's like me checking myself, like, you're better than this. You deserve. You know what you deserve. Stop settling. What you want is gonna come. Just be patient, and I think that's pretty much my seeking support.
Yeah, and I would agree with that, but I also feel like you have to allow people around you to be a support system. And just as much as you're not going to always hear what you want to hear. And people don't have to go through the same thing as you to be able to give you advice and feedback. Right. But that don't mean you can discredit their advice and feedback because they haven't been through the same things you've been through. So sometimes it's kind of like, you got a friend for everything. You might not have a friend for a certain type of business, and that's okay. Yeah. But the friends that you do have for certain business, being okay with kind of being a little more vulnerable, because then you don't want to put yourself in a place where it's kind of like you feel like you have all these people around you, but you have nobody. And that's because you haven't allowed anybody to, actually to experience what it is to try to be there for you or work through things with you or things like that, because in your head, it's already a mental block. And sometimes we can do that, try to protect our own feelings, but in the long run, really hurting ourselves more.
Right. I want to piggyback off of what you said earlier, and off of this. I have felt like I've had so many people around me, and I still felt empty. I still felt like I didn't have people. I still felt like I had nowhere to steer because I was constantly giving out advice to everybody else. But when it was time for me to vent about my situation, even if it wasn't the best situation at the time, it was like, okay, hang up on you. Don't want to hear that. And that's when I really started getting into my shell of confinement and not really talking. And I am big on you have a friend for everything. And also what you said earlier about your circle, reevaluating your circle. I feel like my circle has shifted and changed a lot over the past couple of years, just because I feel like certain people aren't trustworthy, certain people haven't been there through certain things that I have been through. And not to discredit people not always being there for everything that you go through, but I feel like at certain times you have to check yourself as a friend and say, my friend is going through X, Y, and Z. I may be going through A and B. Let me kind of, check in on them and see where they're at.
Exactly. And that's the biggest thing. Like, just because you have something else going on, sometimes you have to be able to still balance it and be a friend. Yeah. Like, I can't say that because I got all this going on, I'm moving, I don't know what I'm going to do next, is that and the third, that if you call me today, I don't got time to hear that. Right. Because it's kind of like, if I love you, if we have a friendship, we have a companionship at the end of the day, it's like, you don't want to make nobody feel like that. And then when the tables is turned, now you're not getting validity in your advice because they got an attitude from what you did 2 weeks ago, and now they're trying to talk to you. And that also comes with being able to communicate even within your friendships. Yeah. Like, that's important because, hey, friend, I was trying to call you and you made me feel like this. Instead of it just holding on to it and just, acting accordingly and moving, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I think that's
just being able to squash it and say, this is what I feel. Maybe it was a misunderstanding. Maybe you misunderstood what I said, but going forward, when this happens, I need you in this way as a friend.
Yeah.
And it's like, then it's like stuff like that is not happening, or if they're not meeting that requirement, it's kind of like, okay, now I know you just not, you know what I'm saying?
I think, that's a big one. That's a good one for you to say. I think, a couple of weeks ago, me and my sister had like a little mini disagreement. And we like, it took us to like talk about the issue to be like, that it wasn't an issue. We're used to communicating in a different manner than people are used to. So we get down with each other and then it just turns out like in a bad way. But me and my sister talked about it and it was like, I didn't feel the type of way, but if I did make you feel the type of way, I apologize because that's never my intention for you to feel this type of way, X, Y, and Z. And it's like, oh, you know I'm X, Y, and Z. I don't feel no type of way, but let me make sure
I cleared the air on the spot with this one. So
yeah, we're big with communication in our relationship, and I'm big with my other friends as well about communicating also. So I think that is a big thing about just embracing that. So we are about to start wrapping up this episode because we're getting to our 1 hour mark. And you already know we got to still reveal which one was your lie. So we're going to just go into one more and finding your purpose in the present, and then we're going to wrap up.
Okay, you can start.
Okay, so finding my purpose in my present it's different for me because I feel like oftentimes I don't know my purpose. I'm like, what am I supposed to be doing? I feel uncomfortable. What is this? What is that? But finding my purpose in the present is I'm right where I'm supposed to be. I might not be where I want to be, but I am right where I'm supposed to be. I was built for certain things, and that's why God asked me to do these things. Like, for example, I'm in a position that I've never been in before. It's S4 in the military. And I've never been in that position before, but I learned that within 2 months with me relieving another sergeant from that position. And I think that a big thing with me was me having to check myself at the door and say, all the self-doubt that I had within myself, I had to check myself and say, God wouldn't send you on this journey. Yeah, exactly. God wouldn't send you on this journey if you didn't know how to do it. When I moved, y'all, I really thought that my move was just gonna be so smooth, so simple, so easy. But then things started happening. Like, they came and picked up my shed and they said, hey, we're not moving your shed with everything in it. So it's like, now I gotta scramble around and figure out how to get everything out of the shed while still working my job, while still running this line haul, while still navigating other relationships in my life. So I think finding my purpose is also seeking help when I need help. Yeah. Speaking out when I need it. I've decided I'm going to anger management class. So, continuously working on myself and still being able to obtain things that are due of me. So one thing that is due of me is me to show up Monday through Friday to my job and to make sure that everything is running properly. So I'm still making sure all of that is happening. Communicating with my family, letting them know I'm good, I'm okay. I had a little scare a couple weeks ago where I was in the hospital. So making sure that I'm taking care of myself, my body, my mind, my mental, everything. Because I'm good at making sure that everybody else is good and not checking in on myself. And that was a moment that I need to check in on myself. And God kind of set me down like, hey, you ripping and running and doing everything else for everybody else, but it's time for you to check yourself and check on yourself and make sure that you're good. And I really wasn't good. So I think finding my purpose in my present is just really just embracing where I'm at now and not thinking so deep into the future to where I'm stressing myself out and I can't even focus on what I have going on now. Like, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that. I need to be focusing on buying this house, but in reality, that's not my main focus. It's baby steps, which is me saving money, me paying off certain debts, me
I agree.
Sitting down, like not me going out. And a big one is me fasting. Like I was going to do a longer fast, but due to me going on a trip, I just didn't want it to be a situation where I'm just tore down to the floor down on the first day of the trip. So I think that going forward, I will do more fast and really just check myself and censoring myself and checking in on my health and making sure that I'm, following up with my doctors, or if something not feeling right, me going to the hospital immediately and not waiting, because I waited and it could have got way worse than what it actually was. So go take it away, sissy.
Okay, finding purpose in the present. So I was watching a sermon yesterday, and the pastor, he basically said, what you see as trouble, God is using as transportation.
Ooh.
And that was very powerful to me, because even like over the last year or so, I have done so many things that I would have never imagined to do, or that was unexpected. So for example, last year in March, I was supposed to renew my lease. And I told my mom, I think I even told you, I'm like, I think I'm coming home this year. I don't think I should renew this lease.
Yeah, you did.
And I'm like, guys telling me, like, out of nowhere, I wasn't looking for a job. I didn't have no resume updated. Somebody called me like, hey, I got a job out here for Atlanta, around that time. So I was getting signs over and over and over and over that I was not supposed to be there.
Yeah.
So then I played it out. I let it play out, whatever the case may be. I was disobedient. By the time it was time for me to renew my lease, like I renewed the lease, it renewed in September. I was moving out in September. So it's kind of like that moment at that time, I realized like when God is talking to you, you need to be obedient.
Right.
And that leads to like finding your purpose in the present, because if you're not open to like evaluating yourself at times when you don't think you need evaluating, you will never move forward. So like, for example, if I would never went through that and understood the power of his word, I wouldn't have known now how important it is to let him steer my life. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And then just coming back and seeing different perspective around other people, and it's kind of like, it's something else in me that I want to do more. I done went through the challenges of work, and that's not what I want. That don't fill me up. I want to help people. I want to talk to people. I want to do this. I want to do that. So just kind of like using your situations and your circumstances to understand, how does this make me feel, and what fuel is it firing in me? Like, what's firing up because I'm going through this? Right. Do I feel compassion? Do I feel sad? Do I want to sing? Do I want to start a podcast? Like, what? Like, from what I'm going through now, what is this driving me to do and feel? Right. So just taking that time and like understanding that God put you in certain seasons of your life in different situations for a reason. Whatever you're going through, you're supposed to be going through it. Whatever is happening, it's supposed to be happening. And whatever is happening is for your future state. You just have to endure it and trust that it's for your good.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I definitely do. Yeah. I think that is big about finding your purpose, and like we said, we're not where we want to be, but we're where we're supposed to be.
Exactly. That's really the biggest thing. Like, you are where you're supposed to be. Because if I wasn't going through this right now, if I didn't have to come home and revisit different things and relearn different things and start a new relationship and learn how to communicate, in the next 3 years, I wouldn't be equipped to do what I need to do. So it's kind of like understanding that, take advantage of all the moments that you're going through. Like, take advantage of when you're going through different things, challenging things, fun things, happy things. Oh my God, I just had a blast talking on this podcast today. What does that make me feel like? Just like for me being here today, you started your podcast, what is it, 11 episodes? Mm-hmm. I've been in episode day 1. I could have easily felt like, why she ain't never tell me to come? Like, why da-da-da-da. But at the end of the day, God is using me now to teach me you need to start using your voice. Right. I didn't need that back then. Right. So if I would have felt that feeling back then, it would have, you know what I'm saying? It was unaligned with what I'm really supposed to be doing. Right. Now it's kind of like, okay, I want you to start this podcast. I want you to start speaking to people. I want you to start getting more involved in using your voice and talking. But you need to practice. So now it's your time to be exposed to this. Right. So just trusting that his timing is when you need it. And that just helps you kind of like maneuver with like peace. And you don't stress, you don't worry. It's just, it's a great life to live. Tell me. Yes.
Okay, so guys, we're about to wrap up this episode. We want to thank you, Deshayla, but we can't let you leave without revealing which one is the lie.
Get out my business.
So go ahead and rehearse it one more time and let us know the 3.
Okay, so my 3 statements was, our dads have the same last name. Mm-hmm. I graduated with 2 degrees, and I rode a camel up the mountain in India.
Okay, you guys. So we're going to let you all comment down below which one you think is the lie. So, Shay,
if you call me sissy and you get this wrong,
don't call her sissy, because that's my sister, and I'm not sharing her with y'all. And I'm sick of y'all calling her sissy.
My sister is tired of the sissies.
I am.
Truth be told,
we're sick of it.
Leave the sissies alone.
Okay, sissy. So go ahead and let us know which one is the lie.
My lie is I rode a camel up the mountain in India. So I did go to India. I did ride a camel, but it was just around the block.
Yeah. So if her sissies didn't know this, can't wait to see y'all comments.
Ironically, our dads do have the same name.
Yeah.
Same last name. Yeah. And I did graduate with 2 degrees. So
yeah, for y'all who missed her graduation.
Yeah.
Yeah. They all got the graduation invitation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
These your sissies?
Yeah, they was having a good game.
Okay, yeah. Okay, you guys, I'm done being messy with y'all. We done with the tea. Thank you, Deshayla, for joining us.
I enjoyed it. Great conversation. Y'all make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe to my sister channel.
All right, you guys, we're about to wrap it up. This has been episode 11, Transcending Expectations, Embracing Your Now. Thank you so much for joining us. We are out. Bye.